Hello, everyone. This is Lisa Wozniak with Woz Marketing, coming to you for another episode of Private Practice Owner of the Month. And this month, we are elated to be joined by Pamela Deneuve. And Pamela is a peak performance strategist. And she began working with lawyers in 1992 in LA. And she's worked with hundreds of law firms throughout the United States, and helping them increase engagement and productivity and improve their profits by millions of dollars. She's also helped them to negotiate multi-million-dollar business transactions. She's a contributor for the Huffington Post and Medium and has written well over 125 articles regarding lawyer well-being. She's created and delivered a course for South African women lawyers to empower their collective voice in the legal profession. Pamela has a groundbreaking course, Marketing Mindset for Lawyers, to assist attorneys in building their book of business for their firms and law practices. She conducts courses for professional development leaders to incorporate the latest American Bar Association guidelines, and also serves on the Health and Well-Being Committee for the Jackson, Florida Bar Association. Pamela works with lawyers in Jacksonville, Florida, and Atlanta, Georgia, and has clients throughout the United States and Europe. And welcome, Pamela. We're thrilled to have you.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. How kind of you. I'm really happy to be here with you today.
One of the things that Pamela does that I just love so much, first of all, she's got the cutest dogs you've ever seen in your life. And she goes out every morning as the sun is coming up over the ocean. So get that mental picture in your head. And as she's walking along the beach, she's got her cell phone out and she's doing a Facebook Live about something that is deep and emotional and meaningful and heartfelt and kind of like a spiritual thought of the day. And was so impressed with this, and I'm hooked now. I find myself, the first thing that I do every morning is look for your Facebook Lives so I can hop on. But I wanted to kind of find out how you came about this. I'm not sure if it started as a marketing tool for you or not. At the end of the day, it still is a marketing tool and a great one. But how did you come up with the concept of doing this?
Well, I was trained to do marketing. And, one of the things to do was, the most current and effective way to reach our audience is with Facebook Live, because it's real time and you're sharing, right there where you are. People get to know you, they get to know your personality, and you get to share something of value that's on your mind. And so that's what really, got me started, was like, wow, this is something I can really use as a platform. And I always come from trying to contribute to people. And so something, is either going on in my life or something that I know someone else is going through. And it just comes up. And I said, well, I've got to share this today. It just tells me, something inside of me tells me, you have to share this message today.
I love it. And I love what you said about how it's about building relationships. And, the vulnerability that you share when you're doing these Facebook Lives is so heartfelt that, marketing tool or just a nice guy kind of approach, whichever direction you come at it from, you or anyone who does those, is so powerful because, there's so much noise and so much chatter out there in the world right now that everybody is competing and fighting for that space. And you break through all of that just by pulling back the curtain and allowing people to see the real you. And that's so powerful, Pamela.
Yeah, in baseball hat, my dogs, and the beach.
Who knew, right?
Yeah. I feel, strange without my baseball hat.
So the nice thing about Facebook is they have a ton of analytical and insight tools. that let you know what's working and what isn't. So I'm curious, is that one of the tools that you utilize to measure the success of this, or do you have other tools that you're using to measure the impact that this is having on your target market?
Well, I do metrics for sure. I don't do metrics on my Facebook Live though. There's other things that I use Facebook, and I have a spreadsheet, and every day, the next day, I look and see, the impact that I had in my audience. So Facebook is very good about giving you all of the information you need.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. They do have some powerful tools. So,
Mhm.
um, what kind of impact has, from your perspective, has this had? Because I know it's impacted me a lot.
Well, it's interesting because you never know how things will impact other people. Because you think that you're just speaking in a void, but then things come back. I'm just going to use, not this isn't a Facebook Live example, but last year my granddaughter graduated from Yale, and we went to her graduation, our family, and I had met someone on the social media who asked me if I could speak to her group. So while I was there in Connecticut, I shared with the group, and then I came home, after the graduation. And a little bit after that, I got a call, I got a client out of that. With Facebook Lives, there are people that are on Facebook Live, on Facebook, that are very influential, that, that I ended up speaking in St. Louis out of, the relationship of someone that, I really am courting actually to do more work with them, because they're very, in this particular this area of law, they're like the kingpin. And so, we get to, kind of stay in touch with each other on Facebook. And then I'm sure that they see my Facebook Lives. And so then it makes the relationships. There's a few other clients that are big clients that I would consider, who would be my VIP clients. And, they're getting my Facebook Live. So it really gets them to see another side of me, because I give my messages that are very real and authentic, and they really touch people. Even, as I said, even my grandson.
And I'm so glad that you touched on that point, because my next question for you was going to be, what kind of an impact has this had on your practice? And I would imagine, you talk about, the heartfelt approach, that it probably is changing the quality of clients that you're getting now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's also, and to tell you the truth, it deepens the relationship with my current clients, because the one thing about me that anyone who's on social media or works with me or knows me is that I'm very authentic, and I tell it like it is. There's not the superficial. And so, that comes across. And so, my clients, they like, wow, this was great. Thank you so much. And I also have a private Facebook group, and I get to share with them, and they get to know me. And so that brings me new clients as well.
Absolutely. And I just don't think that any of us could emphasize that enough. Once you peel all of that back and the authentic version of you comes out, the benefits are huge all over the place. I mean, from the quality of clients that you get, from the interaction that you have with your current clients, right down to the quality of work that you provide. Because when none of that superficial stuff is in the way and the true you is allowed to shine, you do your best work, right?
Truly, truly. That's absolutely true.
So let me ask you, what's next for you, from the marketing perspective on your journey?
Well, there's always a new frontiers. And so I'm using, I'm using my Facebook Lives and using Facebook more, doing Facebook ads. I am going to revisit LinkedIn also, to see, if there's something there. But right now, Facebook really by far is well ahead of any social media. It is the place to be. It's where your audience is. And it's just a really interesting thing, because right now I reach my clients through my Facebook Lives. I'm doing webinars. I have a webinar on Facebook and a funnel. So, I mean, I'm perfecting that right now.
You know, I'm glad that you brought that up, Pamela. That's a really powerful point. There are so many people out there that think that LinkedIn is the only place where you can get clients if your clients are of a professional nature. I've had so many people tell me, oh, lawyers don't hang out on Facebook, or doctors don't hang out on Facebook, or therapists don't hang out on Facebook. And that's not necessarily true. How you target them, how you find them, and the tools that you use are a little bit different than they are on LinkedIn, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. So good for you for zeroing in on that. That's fantastic. So with that in mind, what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about diving into Facebook, or even doing Facebook Lives as a marketing tool to grow their business, to grow their practice? What advice would you give?
Well, I have to tell you, because I don't believe in trying to do it by yourself. And so even the Facebook advertising, Facebook Live, my private Facebook group, you really, really need help in getting that. I couldn't even have begun. And, it takes a while. It takes practice. I remember I couldn't get in front of the camera. And I remember,
I remember that.
I had a friend, and I would be walking on the beach, and he says, okay, every morning you talk to me, via video, at that time, Facebook Live wasn't even existed at that time. And, and then he would give me critique about, being more relaxed in front of the camera. So it took me a while before I was actually comfortable and myself in front of the camera. I'd be like, hello, I'm Pamela, not looking, So you do have to practice. So don't try to do it by yourself. That's all. Just get help, get experts. There's so much, you gain so much. The money that you gain by having, by investing in your business, invest. You have to invest. I mean, people who are trying to skimp by and not pay money, to grow. I mean, anything is education. If you're going to go to college, or if you're going to become a bricklayer, I mean, in whatever you're doing, you have to get the best skill and the best training. So that's what I'd say. Don't try to do it by yourself. Don't try to get up there and say, okay, because I needed to learn what was the best way to give my message. And, I was coached every step of the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Strategy is definitely important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, Pamela, for people who would love to learn more about what you do and how you are showing up and impacting the world, what is the best way for them to reach you?
Well, they could go to my website, which is PamelaDeneuve.com. That's Pamela, and my last name is a little tricky. It's Pamela, and it's D like David, E, N like Nancy, E, U, V like Victor, E, Deneuve. So it's PamelaDeneuve.com, or you could just pop me an email at Pamela@PamelaDeneuve.com.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Pamela, thanks so much for taking the time out of your crazy busy schedule. I know you're a busy lady. And talking with us today about some of the great things that you're doing from a really heartfelt perspective to make a difference in the world. I sure do appreciate it. And folks, this is Lisa Wozniak with Woz Marketing.
Just could I, before you finish,
yes,
would like to say, Lisa, is that, your integrity and your commitment to helping people has always been outstanding. I've always admired the work that you do with people. and your authenticity. And I think that's why we're drawn together, because we're very authentic, and we both care about the people that we work with. So I really appreciate your asking me to be a part of your program.
We are kindred spirits, my friend. So again, this is Lisa Wozniak with Woz Marketing, coming to you for another episode of Private Practice Owner of the Month, celebrating this month Pamela Deneau.